It's the boy, Bubba Lutz, coming through. Hella clutch, flawless, can't be touched. It's your boy, Bubba Lutz. Yeah, I need that hot take. I need the truth and everything that is not fake. So tell me.
Welcome back, Bubba Bunch, to another edition of the Bubba Lutz Sports Podcast. This is episode 265, and today we have a shit ton of stuff to talk about. Cowboys, Black Friday, Black Monday in the NFL with these coaches being fired. It's not over yet, but we also have some insane games that happen in Week 18 of the regular season, the first Week 18 of NFL history.
You know, I was skeptical. About Week 18. I didn't know if it was a good idea, but this did not disappoint.
Many good games.
Disappoint. It was really, really good. Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously, we got to start with the dominance of the Dallas Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles on the road, 51-26. It was exactly what we wanted out of this team, considering the circumstances of not having Micah, not having Trevon, any of their starting corners, really. And
Gallup being out, too, unfortunately.
Gallup being out, Tyron Smith being out. So, and then Tony Pollard being out, which is obviously much better than Ezekiel Elliott. Some would say, and I'm in this argument, that every single running back that scored a touchdown in the game is better than Ezekiel Elliott. Am I right?
Cedric Benson looked all right. Wait, Cedric Benson. Why did I thought of 32, and for some whatever reason, I said Cedric Benson instead of Corey Clement. I don't know how that happened.
Look, sir, we're recording, so I
you know what?
I ain't restarting this.
You know what? I don't think I'm qualified to be on this podcast anymore.
I mean, you're really not. No one ever said that you were to begin with. I'm just kind of doing this out of pity.
Hey, that was mean, man.
Your mom pays me to put you on here, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Dang. Well,
I mean, you're not a liability. You made some all right points, but yeah, Corey Clement.
You mean I've literally outdone you this whole entire season?
That is not true at all. Really, the only thing you've been right about is the Cowboys.
Hey, what did you say the Cowboys are going to be this season?
I said they were going to be like 10-7.
No, you did not. You absolute liar. You are such a liar. You said they were going to be like 8-9, 9-8, and they were going to be third in the NFC East. That is what you said.
No, see, this is where you got it wrong. This is where you get it wrong. No, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You know you're wrong because I said they were going to be last in the division.
Oh, you're right. My bad. Sorry, I messed up.
Joke's on you, sir. I thought they were going to be worse.
While I said 11-6, oh look, they're 12-5 and first place. Like I said. So,
but I'm not sold, you know?
No one's sold.
Okay, but Corey Clement, Ito Smith, then we have Jaquan Hardy.
Jaquan Hardy, I love that man because of Hard Knocks.
I never watched it.
Well,
first of all, I didn't have HBO, and I wasn't willing to pay to see the Dallas Cowboys in Hard Knocks.
That's fair enough. That's
fine. But yeah, I mean, listen, for Dak to have that type of performance, it's great, right? We want to go into the playoffs with that type of confidence, and we want Dak to just give it his all, just sling it around, and that's exactly what they did, right? Like we talked about how we wanted him to take shots down the field, and how just be more aggressive. Wherever that may be with Dalton, Amari, CD, and in this case it was Cedric Wilson, who we both love. Like we appreciate Cedric Wilson so much.
So happy to finally see him like flourish into this just like Cole Beasley kind of receiver, right? He's so reliable. I mean, it was always there. It's just he unfortunately got hurt in his rookie year. So it makes you really happy to see him flourish the way he's flourishing now. Especially right before the playoffs happening, right?
Yeah. But it's just a case of like, yes, I am negative, and yes, I am pessimistic when it comes to the Cowboys in certain aspects. You know, when I feel like it's going great, I will join the crew. Like, I will be a part of that. But when I start to realize that maybe it's not all peaches and cream and it's not all paradise, yes, I'm going to call you out on it because I want to be realistic. And every NFL team should have a realistic outlook. I'm not going to look at one team. Like, the Packers are great, but they do have some things that they do not do well. Like, special teams, absolutely horrendous. That may cost them in the playoffs. So as much as Aaron Rodgers is great, and we got to think about, like, maybe that special teams just doesn't give them the ultimate package to be a Super Bowl winner. Same thing with the Cowboys. Yes, they can flourish offensively and they can put up big numbers. They can put a 50-point burger on the road to shut up a divisional rival and sweep the division. But we also got to consider that this is against the Philadelphia Eagles. This is one of the worst teams in the playoffs right now.
Also, might I add a second team Philadelphia Eagles.
Exactly. We're playing against the second team, third team guys. And yes, the Cowboys are doing that as well. They're scoring with Jaquan Hardy, they're scoring with Ito Smith, and they have Cooper Rush on the field. Yeah, but really the game was over at that point. We're not going to look at that down the road and say, "When? How come they didn't win the fucking Super Bowl when Cooper Rush is out here scoring against the Philadelphia Eagles? Lale's jail." You know? Yeah. So it's a great win going into now the San Francisco game. You know, it was basically solidified that Arizona was going to be an opponent, and they were prepared for that. But lo and behold, Seahawks get the win before Pete Carroll gets fired. And then you have the 49ers just come back tremendously against the Rams in a great game.
Yeah. I think before we move on to those games and the coaches, one thing I will say about this game was that this game is exactly what it needed to be, right? Like you said earlier, this game was nothing but, okay, this is our chance to, get some momentum rolling. Let's head into the playoffs hot. Just let Dak get the record, I mean, he got the record. Now he passed Tony Romo. He has the most touchdowns in a single season by the Cowboys. Let the wide receivers feast, let the defense play a little bit. This game is exactly what it needed to be. I'm glad it happened. Because we're not going to say much because we'll talk about it later this week, but those 49ers look a little intimidating.
49ers are going to be tough. That game last year, like, I know it was a COVID ruined year, but that 49ers game was really entertaining.
It was.
And like, both teams really played well. And despite all the injuries that the 49ers had at that point, I mean, they still played hard. So no matter how much slander you want to put on Kyle Shanahan with the record that he has, that it may not be up to par, the man still made a Super Bowl. He's made just as many Super Bowls as Mike McCarthy has. And I've seen Mike McCarthy get out-coached by lesser coaches. So we'll save the talk about the 49ers. Later. But, I mean, to be honest, were we going to be happy about any of the matchups? The Rams, Cardinals, 49ers? Like, would we be happy with any of them? No.
Yeah, you know what?
I wouldn't.
This might sound a little odd coming from me, but 100% no, I wouldn't be happy. But if I'm being completely honest, I would honestly rather play the Rams than any other team because the Rams literally had the exact same season as the Cowboys. They started off super, super hot, and then Matt Stafford, and even yesterday, like, there were moments where Matt Stafford just did not look dialed in. This wasn't the guy that was absolutely destroying defenses in the beginning of the season. The running game has been completely suspect, just like the Cowboys. And same thing on the defensive side. There were some games where the Cowboys defense looked lost. They looked hopeless. Same thing for the Rams. I feel like, if anything, the Rams-Cowboys game, if it were to come to that, which it probably was very minimal chance of happening, I think that probably would have been the most even game out of these three that probably could have happened.
And plus, you would love the idea of intercepting Matthew Stafford multiple times in a game.
I would.
Right? Because that's a strong possibility.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So would I be happy about it? No. But probably the most even match in my opinion, personally.
Yeah. I mean, we'll save that for later in the week, but it's definitely like a bittersweet thing.
Yeah. But just to end it off, this game exactly what it needed to be. I'm happy it happened. I'm glad the guys, came out and played. 0-0 now, sir. This new season begins.
As Dak said, the
As
real
Dak
shit
said.
starts.
The real shit's going down. So we'll see. We'll see in a week, or what is it? It's Monday, so we'll see in 6 days what these frauds / highest scoring team in the NFL comes out with. So
Sunday afternoon, which will kill me because I prefer to play on Saturday, if I'm being honest. Like I like a Saturday game for the Cowboys, so that way I could just enjoy the rest of them.
Okay,
Or
I see what
just
you mean.
just get through it.
Yeah.
So maybe, how about this? Maybe Dak was foreshadowing not his game, but the game that night.
Oh.
Because really, that's where the real shit happened.
Mm.
And in one of the craziest endings ever in a football game, not because of what happened on the field, but what transpired on the sidelines and outside of Las Vegas, but really what happened in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Baltimore Ravens, eliminates the Ravens from contention. They still have a shot. Big Ben might have one last ride in him. Maybe this wasn't his last game, right? But what needed to happen was one of these teams, Raiders or Chargers on Sunday Night Football, had to win this game. But if they end in a tie, that's the big if. If they end in a tie, both of those teams on Sunday Night Football would win, technically, and they would move on in the playoffs. Steelers get eliminated. Yeah. Kevin, tell me why it felt so scripted in the best way possible.
Look, I would have been 100% down. I don't care if people were saying the NFL is rigged, if it's scripted, if it was planned. I don't care. That was probably one of the best games I've ever seen in my life in a regular season. Like, do you remember that Rams and Chiefs game from a couple years ago?
Absolutely.
I think that is probably on par with
that's
how
up
good
there.
This game was.
That's up there.
I think
the
that's
story
how good
behind
this game
it.
was.
It's the story behind it that you tell your children. Like, there was one year to where a team wanted to tie. Both teams wanted to tie, but one side just took they took a timeout and it changed. Everything changed.
Look, we have more you than me, but I've come to his defense too. Oh my God, I'm Brandon Staley, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I thought I forgot his name. Look, Brandon Staley, we have come to your defense multiple times in this podcast. We've thought you were a great hire. You are a great hire. You'll work it out in the next coming years. But what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Look. I don't know if they're just doing this for dramatic effect. I don't know if they're just saying it for the headlines. Rich Bisaccia and Derek Carr both said they were planning to run the timeout.
Yes.
They both said it.
No, and you know what? It was like, you didn't need to be told that if you're Brandon Staley. What gave it away for me is that on that last possession for the Raiders, and they start their drive, they run the football, they don't hurry up. They ease their way to the line of scrimmage, they run another play, and they're like, oh, we're at 30 seconds. Okay, well, we'll just let it run down a little bit. I think at that point, Brandon Staley's got to be like, well, why would I take a timeout right now? Because,
it's ridiculous.
Like, no one's going to blame me if I just, like, don't do anything and I just run a play if they go up to the line of scrimmage and this clock just runs out. No, that's not my call at the end of the day.
I don't think anybody would have said anything if this game would have ended in a tie. Like why would you be upset? Both teams were gonna make the playoffs if they tied. What was there to say?
And there was justification to not go for the field goal or even attempt it, because yes, there is a possibility that it does get blocked and the Chargers can return it for points. So if I'm Carlson, I'm Bisaccia, and I'm the Raiders, I'm saying, like, do we even risk it? Like, do we really just risk it? But if Brandon Staley's taking a timeout, he may want the ball back. which he
Mhm.
can get the ball back if we don't run
Yep.
a play and get a first down here. So if he wants to make that move, I will make my chess move. You did this first. You did this to yourself. So there's no one else to blame but Brandon Staley. When you have Justin Herbert on the sideline, you have Austin Eckler after the game saying, "Were you guys going to actually kneel?" And I would like it if they kneeled here. I'm good with a tie. That's not a pride
Yeah.
thing. There's no pride when it comes to making the playoffs. If you say, I kind of like cowardice, like out of my way of this game because I didn't want to lose and I was okay with a tie, everyone would have been like, okay, well, you're in the playoffs. That's fine.
Doesn't matter, you know? Yeah.
Like, no one's going to blame you for that. But for Brandon Staley to do that, I've actually seen TikToks and I've seen videos of someone calling for Brandon Staley's head after 1 year. And I said, dude, they're 9-7. Yes, they're not even a playoff contention team, really. They've been up and down. Their defense has been really bad considering that Brandon Staley has been really good defensively with the Rams previously. And the offense is kind of not all there. But it's your first year. They won the games that they didn't win last year.
Yeah.
How do we just suddenly forget that this team lost every single close game? And
Yeah.
yes, that's kind of ironic for what happened last night, but they won the majority of their games this year. Even with
Yeah.
this loss, they're 9-8. That's still a winning record. And I think it still takes time because Brandon Staley's never been a head coach. So I'm like, dude, what is this call for firing him? That's ridiculous. After last night, if it happens, it happens. So like, I don't blame them.
Look, I don't think he should be fired for this decision. But I do think that, look, I don't want to go on an extreme exaggerated route and make this extreme hot take that oh my god, it's not warranted. But I know these two are very, very big and different things that happen to each team. But look, I'm just saying, have the Seahawks really been that? I mean, let me rephrase that. Have the Seahawks really ever been the same since that decision in the Super Bowl? I mean,
The run it
the-
on
it should have
the
they should
Marshawn
have
Lynch?
ran it. Have they really been the same? Has Pete Carroll really had control of the Seahawks ever since that?
But do you blame it on that? Because I blame it on a Legion of Boom retiring or leaving, and Pete Carroll relying too much on Russell Wilson.
Look, there has I don't know if you read a lot of them, but there have been a lot of reports throughout the years, and even Stephen A. and Max Kellerman, and I think even Shannon Sharp talked about this like on their respective shows. There were numerous and multiple reports that came out that ever since that play, like those players that stayed in Seattle after the Super Bowl, there wasn't really a good relationship with Pete Carroll. There was a lot of conversation that Pete Carroll lost the locker room, that he lost a lot of respect from his players, he lost a lot of faith from his players. So look, like I said, I'm not trying to be this conspiracy theorist or anything. But dude, come on. Why would you call a timeout? For what? Look.
And not only that, but to also get on the field on the next play with 10 players on the field.
Exactly. Look, I'm just saying, personally, I think the Chargers would have had a better chance taking on the Bills than the Steelers have facing off against the Chiefs. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be real.
I mean, you can't blame the Raiders though, like for going
No.
to win it, because it's like you'd rather see the
course.
Steelers in the playoffs than you would the Chargers.
I 100% agree with the Raiders doing what they did. 100%. But I'm just saying, calling his head? No, that's ridiculous. I do not agree at all. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a couple years down the line or next season, we start hearing some reports that he's maybe lost the locker room. Maybe there's some players that don't have the much confidence in him anymore. I don't know. I'm just saying, this seems on a very, very broad level, it seems very similar to that Pete Carroll decision, in my opinion. Obviously, the two are very different. Literally, just
Mhm.
going to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I get it. I'm not dumb, but the basics are there, in my opinion.
Well, you know what the Chargers could do?
What could they do, man?
They could use this as a get out card from Brandon
Oh.
Staley, saying like we expected a lot more from him as far as defense goes. Like there's a lot of talent defensively. You got
That's
Kenneth
true.
Murray, Joey Bosa,
Derwin
Derwin
back.
James,
Yeah.
Antoine
Harris Jr.
Samuel. Yes.
Yeah.
And so like to have that type of season with that defense, kind of like very underwhelming. And this offense has way too much talent to not even make the playoffs. So you could say after a year, I don't think this was the right move.
Yeah.
And they could just say it's because we wanted someone better and there was an opportunity to get someone better. And after the news today of the firings of the head coaches, including one specific one that we adore on this podcast.
Oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Why wouldn't the Chargers go after him? Why wouldn't they
Look,
go after the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins?
when I woke up and I saw that tweet, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I was so upset. You're telling me that you fired, check this out, right? You fired Brian Flores, a man that literally almost saved your last two seasons. Both in his whole entire, I wouldn't even call it a tenure, in his time in Miami, that's what I'll call it. These last seasons, he has literally saved your season and almost took them to the playoffs. His first season there, the Dolphins were arguably the worst team in the NFL halfway through the season.
Mm-hmm.
Bar none. He comes in and he makes, and he I lost my words. He gets on like what, a 5-game winning streak to end the season? Okay. Promise. Next season, 10-6, barely missed the playoffs. Miami Dolphins looked good last season.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me that you're gonna fire him because he almost took you to the playoffs and you won 7 out of the last 8 to end this season?
And you beat the Patriots in the season finale?
Hey, good luck being the clowns of the AFC East. Look, you know what? Like in all seriousness, look, I've criticized the Jets every single year, right? I've criticized them of how awful their front office is. But you know what? Hey, Robert Saleh's still there, right?
Yeah.
So if Robert Saleh is going to keep his job, if Brian Flores is going to keep his job, hey, in New York, I love you guys now. Just saying.
Oh, I'll do you one better. How about Joe Judge still has a job, but Brian Flores doesn't? That's crazy to me. Let's just think about this, okay?
I can't, my mind cannot comprehend how Miami Dolphins general manager, president of football operations, and who knows if the owner has any say. He probably doesn't because he's not Jerry Jones. But I don't understand how they could sit down and look at Brian Flores' time in Miami and say, you know what? Yeah, I think it's time to move on.
Who are you going to move on to? That's my thing. Who do you think that's better than Brian Flores right now that can take over?
Right now, definitely not Kellen Moore. Definitely not. Well,
what about Dan Quinn? Because I was
gonna say definitely not Dan Quinn, but Dan Quinn maybe. Dan Quinn maybe, right? Vic Fangio? No. Mike Zimmer? No. Who's Eric Bieniemy?
But he's not proven yet. Like, he's not. You're gonna take a chance.
But maybe. But like a low maybe. Like I put Dan Quinn over Eric Bieniemy in Miami.
Yes.
In this scenario. But I just can't understand how, as of right now, Brian Flores is unemployed. He will be. You know what? I bet you he already chose. Like, I bet you there were teams that called him the second they found out, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like you want to become head coach?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I never should have gone fired to begin with.
No, yeah, Brian's the type of guy you call and you say, if you want to come here, you got the job. If you show any interest in us, you already have the job.
If I were an organization in the need of a head coach, I would literally give Brian Flores a blank check. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way this man has not verbally agreed to an organization already as of what? 10 hours ago? Is that when he got fired?
Yeah.
10 hours ago? It's
Oh,
like that.
well, no. Well, that... Okay, I woke up to the Vic Fangio stuff. Actually, no, you're right. It happened like right after.
Yeah.
Like about 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. Miami clown show, actual clown show. This for me, this puts them under New York because at least New York is consistently bad, right? Like at least they're consistently making bad choices. But this, I wouldn't even say this is out of left field. This is out of like another universe. Why? Why would you do this? Blows my mind. That's all I have to say because I'm gonna get even more upset talking about it.
No, yeah, that man is going to do really great things with wherever he goes, and he's going to be smart about it. Like he could honestly go to a team that's already a playoff contender, and they'll be like, "Yeah, we still want you. I don't care what we have right now." There's a lot of teams that like will upgrade in coach if Brian Flores gets there.
Brian Flores in Minnesota?
That would he basically would get the roster that he deserved in Miami. Because he never got a full roster. He made the guys work, but he was never just bombarded by talent. Yeah. So I know him and whatever coaching staff he brings to the table will be better in Minnesota. Also, like Denver for me makes the most sense in the world.
I feel like Denver and Chicago are both very, very appealing job openings when it comes to like both teams having rising talent, right? Both teams have, well, first of all, if you want to talk about Chicago, let's be real. Chicago should have gone to the playoffs this season on paper. Bar none, they were having extreme talent on the rise. Justin Fields, Cole Kmet, David Montgomery, Allen Robertson, Darnell Mooney. How could you not with that offense? Oh, but I forgot. Justin Fields is a pocket passer. Hey, sorry, man.
Oh, clearly he's a pocket passer. Did you not watch the film?
No, I mean, I don't have to. He's clearly a pocket passer.
Gotta be.
Then you go to Denver. What's the only thing missing in Denver right now?
Quarterback.
So a head coach like Brian Flores that had to deal with Tua turn the ball over can go into Denver. Nice. And just, hey, John Elway, let's go get a good quarterback, man. I feel like he could do it. I agree with you. I think both of these are very good job openings.
He could play hardball. He could say, the only way I'm going to Denver is if you get a quarterback. You give me Aaron Rodgers, I'll win you a damn Super Bowl. And guess what? I'll believe him. I'm not playing on the Miami Dolphins, Kevin. I would go to war for that guy. I barely know the guy.
Yeah.
But based on the things that I've seen on the field, him trying to fight other players because they punched his other players, like that man, I'm willing to die for. I'm taking a bullet for that guy.
Very few people in the NFL that I would run through a brick wall for. But I would run through a brick wall for Dan Campbell and Brian Flores. 100%.
Would you do Brian Flores over Mike McCarthy?
Maybe. Yeah. Just because, look, I feel like Mike McCarthy is extremely lucky that the Cowboys are talented because there has been some decision making this season that I'm just like, dude, you want a Super Bowl? Really? Wild.
No. Yeah, I get that. By the way, the Dallas Stars just scored behind me. So if you're wondering what that noise is.
You know, for about 5 seconds after you said that, my brain just completely ceased to function because I had no idea what you were talking about until I realized, oh, the Dallas Stars is a hockey team. I don't watch hockey, so.
Wow. This is really awkward.
Yeah.
As a train just passes behind me. Anyways, so as far as Brian Flores goes, that makes no fucking sense. Now, the other ones, total sense, right?
Yeah.
You got Vic Fangio.
Gone.
Matt Nagy should have been gone a long fucking time ago. That fire should have happened in 2019. Like him and Ryan Pace too.
Yeah.
So like the report or the news that came out, it's like, oh, he's fired. Okay, cool. This is outdated by about 2 years.
All I'm gonna say about the Matt Nagy firing, because I feel like we've already said enough about this whole situation in Chicago. I feel like the whole Matt Nagy situation was a courtesy call. Look, Matt Nagy, you've been pretty good your first 3 years, but these last 2 years have been trash. But you did pretty good, so we're gonna let you ride out in the proverbial sunset that's literally flaming right now under your ass. But it is what it is. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I think we've already spoken enough about the Chicago situation.
Justin Fields has a chance.
He's always had a chance, just not with him.
No, not with Matt Nagy.
I feel like Justin Fields could become, what out of this class. I still believe it. I think he's gonna become the best quarterback out of this class.
Yeah.
Because look. Here's the thing, right? Mac Jones is gonna become probably one of the best game managing quarterbacks in the NFL.
100%.
Under Bill Belichick. 100%. But
he
that's
was
all
born
he'll be.
for New England.
Oh, of course. But that's all he'll be, a game manager.
Yeah.
Justin Fields. Look, I'm not gonna overreact. What's that segment of ESPN? Overreaction. I honestly saw Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields. I really did. But only if he went to 49ers. Only if he went to the 49ers.
Oh my God. You know how terrifying it would be to play the 49ers with Justin Fields right now? Him and Debo? Him and anybody that's in the backfield?
Imagine a Debo coming on a reverse. Oh, psych, Justin still has it. Oh, psych, Ayuk still has it. Oh, psych, Elijah Mitchell's running down the sideline 50 yards.
And then Kyle Juszczyk is 75 yards down the field.
Because that man can do anything. Did you see him holding kicks?
Yeah.
Because Mitch Wisnowski got injured. I would run through a brick wall for Kyle Juszczyk. Because he would for me, because that's literally his job.
Yeah.
Good guy. Good guy.
Did you see that tackle that the punter put on that made him get concussed?
It was very odd.
It was not good form.
Look, a lot of people make fun of football players for making business decisions. That should have been a business decision.
There was no reason for him to go.
There was no reason. The sideline was 2 feet away. Come on.
Plus, it was three Rams players.
Yeah, it's
so it's you're not gonna put up a fight, dude.
Listen, man, I admire your heart, but relax. We're paying you for your leg, not your tackling skills. Come on.
Exactly. Well, it definitely showed. So Matt
Nagy gone. Love it. 100% love it.
Mike Zimmer. It was time.
He'll be back though. I believe he's still a functioning coordinator, but not a head coach.
Oh yeah, I think he needs to take a break from being a head coach.
Oh, yeah.
But as a coordinator, I'm all about it.
No, he should stay. I 100% think Mike Zimmer should stay. There's no reason why he should not have a job next season.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's not in doubt. I think it's just a matter of someone gives him a chance as a head coach again. Mm-hmm. But to be fair, I think it looked like he just got tired of it.
It looked like there was no juice in him anymore. You know what? I honestly feel like Mike Zimmer is gonna have the same kind of thing that happened to Dan Quinn, right? Mike Zimmer's gonna go to a team, maybe 1-2 years, and then he'll probably prove himself again, and then maybe a head coach down the line.
Yeah,
I think that's fine.
Some that didn't know how much of a genius he actually is are gonna be like, wow, he's actually doing really well as a coordinator, and they're like, yeah, that's how he got the head coaching jobs.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't understand the life cycle of a lot of people think that once a head coach is no longer head coach, they disappear into the void. And it's no, you can come back from the void. There's a lot of guys have done that. So he'll be fine. But at least when it comes to Minnesota, yeah, no, it was time. It was time.
It really was. I mean, think about Ben McAdoo. That man is the next offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. It's truly a possibility.
I hope you never say that sentence again.
Sadly, sir, I'm not kidding.
I hope you never say that sentence again.
Why wouldn't you want Ben McAdoo on the sideline? Have
I-
you seen that man?
I would rather have Mike McCarthy call the offensive plays than Ben McAdoo.
Well, it already feels that way, to be honest.
To a certain extent, yeah. But yeah. What I will say though is that his hair, sleek hair Ben McAdoo.
Man's
Like,
a panty dropper.
I feel like Ben McAdoo is the only person in the world that still owns like those oil bottles, like the greaser oil bottles from like the 70s. And he, like, as he's getting ready, he's talking like, "Hey babe, yeah, babe, you know, I'll be late tonight, you know," and then just the whole bottle, flick it on both of his hands and just
Let's get to work.
look, Ben McAdoo as a football guy, please don't come to Dallas. But as a human being, happy for you.
What do you
Hair
mean? He's
looks
already
slay.
in Dallas.
Stop.
Just stating facts, man.
Stop.
Honestly, give me him over Kellen.
You know, I don't think Kellen should become a coach. Anyway,
he's gonna do so bad.
Yeah, we're getting off track. But look,
who got left?
so Zimmer, it was time. Fangio gone.
Mhm.
What's it called? Nagy should have been gone. Flores, we'll see you in like literally 10 days when you announce that you got another job because it's ridiculous. Oh man. Hey, can I start this one, man, please?
Go ahead.
Dave Gettleman,
Well,
thank you for your service as a Cowboys fan. Thank you for the last 6 years of your time. It was very fun beating the living shit out of you for the last 6 years. I'm not going to speak ill about you today. This is a memorial service. I hope you have a wonderful life in retirement. I hope you play as much golf as you want. I hope you succeed in all your hobbies and all your investments. I really hope you have a wonderful life with your family. Sincerely, a Cowboys fan.
oh my god.
Yeah. Now,
Look,
if we're
dude.
talking about as a regular person, I hope he never gets an NFL job again. Would you say that was possibly one of the worst general manager tenures you've ever seen in the NFL? Because I would put it up there. I would by far put it up there as one of the worst tenures I've ever seen in my life.
There's a way to salvage this. You know?
Like the Giants, like next season?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a way to salvage this, and if they do, they're a threat.
You cut like half of your offensive squad to save money and then go splash free agency while having good draft picks with your new GM that has a brain?
Yeah, and he'll realize that Joe Judge is definitely not the right head coach and that Daniel Jones is definitely not the right quarterback. This is manageable. This is truly something that you could save thanks to Dave Gettleman. You know what? We should owe everything to Dave Gettleman when the Giants make a comeback.
Here's the thing, right? So I think by far, the first thing the Giants should be doing, this brand new GM, right away. Look, I think the Giants can handle one more mediocre year of Daniel Jones in order to rebuild that offensive line. Because there's no way you have a generational talent like Saquon Barkley and his average yards per game is like 40. What?
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. So deal with Daniel Jones for one more year. Deal with all the interceptions. Deal with all the fumbles. Dealing with all the trips on the field. One more year. Bulk up that offensive line. And in 2 years, hey, later, Daniel, we're going to get a good quarterback. Think about it. Saquon actually coming back? Think about Kenny Golladay actually living up to his potential. Think about
scoring a touchdown.
Think about Kadarius Toney. You know, he showed some flashes. He's good. look, I agree with you. I think the Giants could salvage this. And it's all hey, thanks, Dave. Hey,
Thanks for
man.
retiring.
Oh,
It was your decision from the get-go.
oh man. I hope I do such a good job in my life to where, when my skills are depleting because I'm older and I just can't do it anymore, I hope I get to retire too. Oh man, that's great. Good for him. I'm happy for him as a Cowboys fan. But as a regular person, I hope he never sees the day of light in the NFL again. Cause damn. I feel like we've suffered as a Cowboys fan. I mean, as Cowboys fans, I feel like we've suffered a long time. Like I'm numb. But I feel like Giants fans have just been on anesthesia for the last like 6 years. But they're still awake. So they're just there. They're just watching the games like this. Like this. And then like when something good happens, they're just like, yay. And then something bad happens literally the next play after, because that's been the Giants team the whole last 6 years, and they're just like this. Did you notice I didn't do anything? Because they're used to it.
Never had a winning record at any point in the last 5 years.
6 years.
Is
Okay,
it
5
6?
years. Yes. The sixth one they were okay, but then they choked at the end. But
would you take that though? Would you take this amount of time of
absolutely, 100%. I know what
pure
you're gonna ask.
mediocrity,
100%.
but win 2 Super Bowls within 5 years?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Look, here's the thing, right? Hear me out, right? Tampa Bay basically did it. Tampa Bay was literally the laughingstock of the NFC South for the last before Brady last year. Maybe about 5 years too? 5 years?
How
long?
I'm talking like since John Gruden left.
No, because there was 1 year. When was it? Oh, I'm thinking of. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong tenure.
Oh, you're thinking of the Milwaukee Bucks. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Anyway, I think Bucks fans are pretty happy right now, right? And they were poor Bucks fans. Poor Bucks fans. So, oh yeah, 100%. I would go through 8 years of hell just to see the Cowboys win 3 Super Bowls in like 40 years.
I'd take one. If I'm the Eagles, like if I do the same thing the Eagles did, which is win 1 Super Bowl, have 1 year of just pure like, wow, what a year.
Yeah.
It just all fell in our lap. And the next 5 years after that, we're like, it's just not the same. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, at least I got one.
Yeah.
At least I got one.
Yeah, that's true. Well, hey Giants, looking good for you guys.
Joe Judge is that guy.
Joe Judge is that guy. Daniel Jones, that guy.
Who's the next head coach to get fired?
I would say. Ooh, that's a good one, actually.
Because I mean, there's been some talks about guys like Matt Rule, but it's been said that he's coming back.
Disagree.
It's been said he's coming back.
Joe
Judge,
agree.
he's coming back.
I agree that Matt Rule stays. I agree 100% on that. Pete Carroll?
I think it's Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, right? Look, here's the thing. Pete Carroll had a bad hand this year, right? But I feel like Pete Carroll, not as bad, because it was like 17 years. But Pete Carroll has turned into like the Marvin Lewis of this like generation, right? Where like all he does is he goes to the playoffs, but nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing ever happens. And look, you can say that that's better than other teams like the Cowboys, like, just a lot of teams in the NFL, right, in general. But there comes a point in time where it's like, okay, are you gonna make the jump or not?
Yep.
And when you get to that point where it's literally been what, besides this year, it was what, like 6 straight years after the Super Bowl, and you just can't make it past the divisional round, something has to change.
Right.
And you know what? It's one of those things where Pete Carroll will not be fired disgracefully. He doesn't deserve to be fired disgracefully.
No, it's gonna be
Absolutely not.
it's a mutual
Yeah,
respect of parting ways.
but I do think it's time. I think there has to be something done. But what I will say though is that I'm not on Pete Carroll's side on this one. I'm not. I'm on Russell Wilson's side on this one.
Yeah, of course.
I completely agree that if nothing happens, Russell should leave. 1000%. You're telling me, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm surprised that Russell Wilson has not become Andrew Luck, because that man literally runs for his life every single play, every single damn play. I think Russell Wilson has been blessed that he has the ability to scramble. Because if he didn't, he would have been gone from this league like 2 years ago, for sure.
Yeah. I've been saying it for months now, where it's like at the end of the year, when the Seahawks season is over, they got to pick one. It's either Pete or it's Russ. You pick one, you can't have both.
Russ should be it right away. There's
You
no reason why it shouldn't be Russ.
Yes, you clearly made the right choice by saying we're gonna go with Seattle, or we're gonna go with Russ for the future. Pete, we love you. We loved what you've done, and we still love you. Like, I mean, they beat the Arizona Cardinals in their last regular season game when clearly, like, they had just no reason to win that game, and no right to win that game, because Arizona is that talented. But to go out there and put up a good performance like that, it's a last hurrah for Pete Carroll. Say, hey, if I'm going to go out and my players are going to go out, let's go out with a win. You know, I'm good. You know, if we just win this one game, that's all that matters to me, because nothing else can really happen. So for that reason, I think that's why it's like end on a good note, and then we'll go on. Dallas Stars just scored again in the background, so don't mind that. Nice. So yeah, I think Pete Carroll is next up, and it should happen very soon. It really should.
Yeah. You know, after Pete Carroll, I don't think there's a lot of head coaches in a hot seat. I think there's one more thing we have to talk about before we end this episode. You know, there's a certain kind of sickness you get when you see someone that shouldn't be succeed. Indy's down bad right now. Indy is down Tacoma right now.
All my El Paso people, down Tacoma.
Look, I hate the Eagles. Everybody knows I hate the damn Eagles. I hate them with all my heart. I hope these Bucks trounce them 75-0. But look, I have to give them respect. There's no way you finesse the Eagles, the Colts, to give you a first rounder for a beat up Carson Wentz that loses to the Jaguars. The Jaguars in the last game. You needed to beat the worst team in the NFL to get into the playoffs, and you choke. While the rebuilding Eagles made the playoffs. There's no way. Now the Eagles have 2 top 15 picks. Oh, I'm sorry. No. As of right now, they would have 2 top 20? Top 20, right?
If they make the playoffs, yeah.
2 top 20 picks. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Look, I got to watch that game. I didn't watch the game.
My respect to the Eagles. I hate you still, but my respect. Oh my God. Damn. Look, here's the thing, right? I don't think Frank Reich should be fired, but I think he's under the hot seat bad right now. Like, next season is his for sure. Like, all right, Frank, like, you got to do something, or else Like, this is inexcusable what just happened. Like, inexcusable. If it were any other scenario, he would be axed right away. But Frank Reich has shown something in Indy. Carson Wentz stay?
No.
Dude, there's no way. There's
Yeah, no.
how do you okay, look, check this out, right? How do you go from the Colts being the team that at the beginning of the season, oh, it's the Colts. They suck. I mean, easy game to, oh shit, I don't want to play the Colts anymore. Like, these Colts can steamroll us. And then you choke the last 3 games of the season? How? How? Please tell me how. How do you not make the playoffs when Jonathan Taylor is literally the second coming of sweetness? He's literally sweetness.
Dude, Jonathan Taylor against the Jaguars.
Tell me Jonathan Taylor's not sweetness.
It's easy.
Walter Payton and Jonathan Taylor, I mean, wow.
Dude runs hard.
Like sweetness.
Exactly.
Love him. Love him. Oh,
that's why I want to watch this. I want to watch that game just to see how bad we talk, because that's gonna determine for me. It's like, oh, you just nothing went your way. But I saw some throws yesterday by Carson Wentz on like Twitter, where I'm like, that I can't defend.
They lost 26-11.
Yeah, that I can't defend.
26-11?
Yeah, I gotta eat my words on that. I thought the Colts were gonna be a dangerous team in the playoffs.
Oh my god!
Hey, you can't be a dangerous team in the playoffs if you don't make the playoffs. Think about that.
They call that tactical dodge.
Wow.
Tactical dodge.
I'm more of a Ford guy myself. I'll handle a Chevy, but I don't know about Dodge.
I don't like Dodges either.
Not my favorite.
Yeah. But it's okay, because Carson Wentz can drive his Dodge all damn off season. I'll tell you what. Yay! Oh, man.
That backup quarterback role is going to be really nice for him. But do you stay in house? Do you go with a Sam Ellinger? Do you go for someone that you already have, or do you go out and get someone? And who do you get?
I don't think the Colts have a choice. They don't have any picks. I don't think they have a choice.
How much? What did they trade Carson for?
A first?
A first and a second?
No, I don't think a second, but I think a first and a fourth? Was that what it was?
Yeah, but wasn't it initially a second, and then if he did play like 75% of the snaps, then it would be a first rounder?
Ooh, I don't know.
I mean, clearly at that time, it's like, well, you expect him to play that much because he's their not franchise quarterback, it's their starting quarterback. Eagles finessed. Thoughts?
Like I said, I hate you. I hope you get trounced. But man, my respect.
Listen, there's no like reasoning with Carson Wentz anymore, because like the last thing that he could have done is like, hey, let me get back to who gave me my best years.
Yeah.
And when Frank Reich was my offensive coordinator, I had my best years. If I can't make it work with him, who brought out the best in me, either it's not there anymore, or I'm just not it.
I don't even think. Yeah, there's no excuse. Look, you're telling me that you cannot come up clutch with the second coming of sweetness, Michael Pittman emerging as one of the probably best young wide receivers in the league. T.Y. Hilton made a pretty good comeback year, if I have to say.
I don't know.
I mean, like, look, I mean, it's nothing to talk about. I mean,
No.
compared to the last couple seasons, I'll take it. Don't start. And also, might I add, you're wasting the best left guard in football's talent. Quentin Nelson, freak of nature. That man can single-handedly run through a wall of brick walls by himself. And then at the end of it, he'll like try to rebuild them again because he's also a really nice guy. I don't know if you've seen those videos.
I have not.
He likes to talk some smack, but it's all in good fun. Good guy. Good guy,
That's what you
Quentin
like.
Nelson.
That's what you
Good
like
guy,
about
Quentin
him.
Nelson. Good guy, Quentin Nelson. I like that guy.
Deserves better.
Deserves better.
Like
Oh,
if
well,
Andrew
man.
Luck was still in the league and he had this roster. Imagine he had a Jonathan Taylor back in the day and he had Quentin Nelson protecting him.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Andrew Luck is going to be one of those guys, and we just talked about before the podcast. We saw the picture of him, and he did not look good. But
That man's going through some stuff.
I don't know what he's going through. Hope he's doing okay. Great guy, funny
Great
guy,
Very polite
if-
guy. Very polite.
very polite guy.
Yeah.
But if that man was still in the league, and let's say he would have stuck with it in Indianapolis, because right after he left, that's when it was like Jim Irsay said, "Oh, we should really change things up." It's like, no shit, you just almost murdered a man on the national television every week. So Andrew Luck stays with this team, and he has Jonathan Taylor, Quentin Nelson, Michael Pittman Jr., that defense, Darius Leonard, guys like that.
Darius Leonard's a freak, man. That guy plays with rage. He plays with like heartfelt freaking level 1000 rage in his body. Like, Jesus Christ.
Tell me how, if Andrew was with the team right now, or in the last few years, to where they've really showed like potential, them versus the Chiefs in the divisional or in the conference championship, how that wouldn't be an incredible matchup.
It'd be great.
Like that is a Peyton Manning, Brady level type of matchup.
Yeah.
And we never got to see it.
Because Jim Irsay should be arrested for attempted murder.
And what we got was Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. Or you know what? Don't like Skip Bayless that much. Guy's a whack job. But I have to agree with one of his favorite sayings, Carson Wentz. Ooh. Makes you wince. Don't like that.
That's kind of weak. That's weak sauce right there.
That is weak sauce, but it's right.
It makes
When has Skip Bayless been right? Besides Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta appreciate those videos that he puts on with all of his Cowboys gear, like outside in his patio.
Hey, man. Hey, did you know that he can't lose in those shoes? Do you know that, man?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
He can't, dude.
You know what happened when you said that?
Those shoes.
You know what happened when you said that?
What?
Carson winced. Full circle.
All right, wrap it up.
Wrap it up. This has been episode 265 of the Bubba Lutz Sports Podcast. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us.
Hey, thanks, man.
Regular season in the books. Playoff time. Just expect greatness out of this podcast.
Oh, man. Expect intensity.
Violence, speed, momentum.
Beats, Bears,
Battlestar Galactica.
Easy.
This has been the Bubba Lutz Sports Podcast.
Yeah, hold on. Tell me who's your top 5 quarterbacks right now, dead or alive, huh? And how much do you care about a ring if the best player got carried by the team?